Good morning, all. Welcome to the lecture of number theory. Okay, I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we have seen what is a Fermat theorem. Fermat theorem is nothing but if P be a prime number, that is let P be a prime number and A be an any integer such that P does not divides A, then e to the power P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo V. That we have already proved. Now we have to see whether its converse will be true. This one is nothing but Fermat's theorem. So we have to see whether its converse will be true. That is, if for any integer n, if a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo n, whether it implies that this n is a prime number. N is a prime number. That is, we have to check. Okay. So for that, let us take a equal to 2 and n equal to 341. Okay. Now, first we have to check whether a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo n, and if a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo n for any arbitrary integer n, then we have to check whether such a n is a prime or not. So here we have taken a equal to 2 and n equal to 341. Now this n can be written as 341, whether 341 is a prime number.
Yes, sir.
प्राइम नंबर आएगा 341.
No, sir.
Check whether 11 divides 341 or not.
No, sir. It is not prime.
If it is not prime, then it must be a composite number. Then it must be some positive divisors. That is some positive prime divisors. That is 11. 11 into 31 is equal to 341. 11 into 1, which is 1, and 11 into 3, 33 plus 4, 341. Okay, 11 into 31 is nothing but 341. Therefore, 341 must be a composite number. Okay, now as 341 is a composite number, then 2 to the power 10 is nothing but, what is the value of 2 to the power 10?
सर काही लोकांना जॉईन होता येत नाहीये.
Okay, just a minute. त्यांना जॉईन व्हायला सांगा.
झालं सर.
Okay. Okay, now we have to see what is the value of 2 to the power 10. 2 to the power 10 is nothing but 2 up to 10 times. Multiplication of 2 up to 10 times, which is nothing but, I think, 1024. Now, this 1024 can be written as multiple of 31 into some remainder. Check whether it is equal to 1024 or not. 31 into 33 is nothing but, आवाज येते ना माझं? 33 into 31.
One thousand and 23.
1023 plus 1, 1024. This one also can be written as 31 into 3 into 11 plus 1. That is 31 into 3 is nothing but 93 into 11 plus 1. Okay, so if we divide 2 to the power 10 by 31, then what should be the remainder? 1 is a remainder. Since when 2 to the power 10, that is 1024, is divisible by 31, then the remainder will be 1. That is, which implies that 2 to the power 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 31. And from this, and also 2 to the power 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 11, since it is a multiple of 11 plus remainder 1. Okay, now as 2 to the power 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 31, which implies just multiply both side by 2, then which is nothing but 2 to the power 10 into 2 is congruent to 2 modulo 31. That is, this one is nothing but 2 to the power 11 is congruent to 2 modulo 31, and for same here also, and here 2 to the power 10. Take, if a is congruent to b modulo n, then a to the power k is congruent to b to the power k modulo n. So here take k equal to 3, which is nothing but 2 to the power 10 cube is congruent to 1 cube modulo 11. Okay, which implies 2 to the power 30 is congruent to 1 modulo 11. Again multiply both side by 2, we get 2 to the power 31 is congruent to 1 modulo 11. Whether 11 and 31 are prime numbers, take this one as equation 1 and this one as equation 2. 11 आणखीन 31 प्राइम नंबर आहेत का?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
दोन्ही
sir.
प्राइम आहेत ना?
Yes, sir.
हो, sir.
Again we know that one result. We know that if P and Q are distinct primes, P and Q are distinct primes, and if a to the power P is congruent to a modulo Q and a to the power Q is congruent to a modulo P, then what is the result?
A to the power PQ is congruent to A mod PQ.
A mod PQ. Okay, so now we have to use this result for equation 1 and 2. Here 11 and 31 are two distinct primes, and a to the power 31, that is 2 to the power 31 is congruent to 1 modulo 11, and 2 to the power 11 is congruent to 2 modulo 31. Then from equation 1 and 2, from 1 and 2, by above result, 2 to the power 11 into 31 is congruent to, that is a to the power p into q is congruent to a. Here a is 2 modulo p into q. P into q is 11 into 31, which is nothing but 2 to the power 11 into 31. 11 into 31 is nothing but 341, which is congruent to 2 modulo 341. Therefore, here a to the power n is congruent to a modulo n. Now, again we know one result. If a is congruent to b modulo n, then a upon d is congruent to b upon d modulo n. Or there is one more result, that is if AC is congruent to BC modulo n, then A is congruent to B modulo GCD of B modulo n upon GCD of Cn. Write this one as 2 to the power 340 2 to the power 340 into 2 is congruent to 1 into 2 modulo 341. Therefore, this is nothing but 2 to the power 340 is congruent to 1 modulo 341 divided by, what is the GCD of 2 and 341?
2.
2 कसं येईल? 2 डिवाइड करते का?
1, 1, 1.
1 येत आहे सर.
2 to the power 340 is congruent to 1 modulo 341. Okay, which implies this one is of the form 2 to the power 341 minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo 341. That is a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to a modulo 341. So here we get a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo 341. Okay, so now here we have to check whether 341 is a prime number, but here 341 is a composite number since it is a multiple of 11 and 31. But if n is composite number, then also we get a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo 341. That is here n is nothing but 341. So here we have to write e to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo n. But 341 is not a prime number. So, which implies that the converse of Fermat's theorem is true or not true?
Not true.
Fermat's theorem is not true. Since converse of Fermat's theorem says that if a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo n, then n must be a prime number. But here we get one example in that a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo n, but n is not a prime number. Hence the converse of Fermat's theorem is not true. Okay. कुणाला काही डाऊट यामध्ये? हो नाही काहीतरी असेल ना?
No, sir.
Okay, now the next concept will be a pseudo prime. First, let us see its definition. An integer small n is said to be a pseudo prime if 2 to the power n is congruent to 2 modulo n. That is, n divides 2 to the power n minus 2, then we say that this n is a pseudo prime number. Okay, see its example. 341 is the smallest pseudo prime. Smallest pseudo prime. Okay, and some other pseudo primes are, and some other primes are 561, 645, 1105, and so on. 341 is the smallest pseudo prime to the base 2. Smallest pseudo prime to the base equal to 2. Okay, so if we change the a value, that is here a equal to 2, so 341 is the smallest pseudo prime corresponding to a equal to 2. If we change the value of 2, then we get the corresponding pseudo prime. For example, here we take 2 instead of 2, 3, 5, anything. Okay, but 341 is the smallest pseudo prime corresponding to value of a equal to 2. Okay, so 91 is the smallest pseudo prime to the base 3. Base a equal to 3. Similarly, 217 is the smallest pseudo prime to the base 5. Smallest pseudo prime to the base 5. Therefore, from this we conclude that there are infinitely many pseudo primes. There are infinitely many pseudo primes to the given base, that is whatever it will be, base 3, 2, 5 and so on. Now the first example of even pseudo prime is the first example of even pseudo prime is 1610 161038 16 161038 and was found in 1950. 1950. So any integer n is said to be a pseudo prime if it holds this condition, that is 2 to the power n is congruent to 2 modulo n. Here a equal to 2. We will take any value of a, that is 3, 5 and so on. So 341 is the smallest pseudo prime corresponding to a equal to 2. Similarly 91 and 217 are the smallest pseudo primes corresponding to the base 3 and 5 respectively. Therefore, from this we conclude that there are infinitely many pseudo primes to the given base, that is 2, 3, 5 and so on. Okay. Now the next definition will be an absolute pseudo prime. So we have to see what is an absolute pseudo prime. Okay, a composite integer small n is said to be an absolute pseudo prime where pseudo prime, the composite integer n is said to be an absolute pseudo prime if a to the power n is congruent to a modulo n for all integers a with GCD of a and n equal to 1, with GCD of a and n equal to 1. Therefore, any composite integer n is said to be an absolute pseudo prime if a to the power n is congruent to a modulo n for all such integers a with GCD of a and n equal to 1. Then we say that n is an absolute pseudo prime. Okay, for example, 561 is the smallest absolute pseudo prime. Absolute pseudo prime. Okay. So we will prove this 561 is an absolute pseudo prime. That is example first. Show that 561 is the absolute pseudo prime. As here we have said that 561 is an absolute pseudo prime. That is, in definition of absolute pseudo prime, we have taken 561 is the smallest absolute pseudo prime. Then it must be a composite integer, since in definition given that any composite integer in n is said to be absolute pseudo prime if it holds this condition. As 561 is the smallest absolute pseudo prime, then it must be a composite integer. Then according to fundamental theorem of arithmetic, tell me the prime factors of 561. Okay. Now, what are the prime factors of 561?
11 and 51.
11 and
51.
11 into 31 is equal to 341 ना. हे कसं prime
3
factor असते?
11 into 17.
3 into 187.
187 is a prime number or it is divisible by some number?
3 into 11 into 17.
561 can be expressed as 3 into 11 into 17. That is, this one is the prime factorization of 561. Okay, so according to definition of absolute pseudo prime, we have to prove a to the power n is congruent to a modulo n for all integers a with GCD of a n equal to 1. So here we have to choose one integer a having GCD will be equal to 1 with 561. Okay, let a be an integer which is relatively prime to 561. Okay, that is GCD of a and 561 is equal to 1. If GCD of a and 561 will be equal to 1, that is a is relatively prime to 561, then what is the GCD of a and 3, GCD of a and 11, and GCD of a and 17? As a is relatively prime to 561, then what should be the GCD of a with 3, 11, and 17?
1.
1.
It must be 1. Since if it is greater than 1, then that integer must divide 561, which implies GCD of a and 561 will be equal to greater than 1. So as here GCD of a and 561 will be equal to 1, then GCD of a with these three integers 3, 11, and 17 must be 1, which implies GCD of a and 3 equal to 1, comma GCD of a and 11 equal to 1, and GCD of a and 17 which is equal to 1. So here we get 3, 11, and 17 are three prime numbers where these three primes are relatively prime to a. So now we have to use the Fermat's theorem. For Fermat's theorem, we require any p be a prime number and a be an integer such that p does not divide a. Then there is result a to the power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. As here GCD of a and 3 equal to 1, then 3 is a prime which does not divide a. Since GCD of a and 3 will be equal to 1, then from Fermat's theorem, a to the power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. Here a to the power p minus 1, 3 minus 1, which is 2. A square is congruent to 1 modulo 3. Now we have to make this a square as a to the power 560. Then we have to multiply 2 by 560. We have to make, that is 2. Take k equal to 280, which implies a square to the power 280 is congruent to 1 to the power 280 modulo 3. Okay, so which implies e to the power 560 is congruent to 1 modulo 3. Take this one as equation 1. Similarly, from this one, GCD of A and 11 will be equal to 1, which implies and a to the power p minus 1, p equal to 11, which implies a to the power 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 11. Okay, now take here also k equal to 56, that is a to the power k is congruent to b to the power k modulo n, which implies a to the power 10 into 56, which is 560, is congruent to 1 modulo 11. Okay, which implies 11 divides e to the power 560 minus 1. Take this one as equation 2, which implies 3 divides e to the power 560 minus 1. This will be equation 1. Now we have to use the Fermat's theorem for this one, that is GCD of A and 17 equal to 1, which implies, and also e to the power 16 is congruent to 1 modulo 17, which implies e to the power 560 is again congruent to 1 modulo 17, which implies 17 divides e to the power 560 minus 1. So from equation 1, 2 and 3, 3 divides e to the power 560 minus 1, 11 divides e to the power 560 minus 1, and 17 divides e to the power 560 minus 1. And 3, 11 and 17 are prime numbers. Again, we know one result. We know that if A divides C and B divides C with GCD of A and B equal to 1, then A divides C and B divides C and GCD of AB will be equal to 1, then A into B divides C. Therefore here 3 divides A to the power 560 minus 1, 11 divides A to the power 560 minus 1, and 17 divides A to the power 560 minus 1. And these 3 are prime numbers, that is 3, 11 and 17. That is, they are relatively prime, which implies 3 into 11 into 17 divides A to the power 560 minus 1. But 3 into 11 into 17 is nothing but
561.
561 divides a to the power 560 minus 1. Now here we have to use the definition of congruence. That is, an integer n divides the difference of two integers a and b, which implies a to the power 560 is congruent to 1 modulo 561. Okay. Now multiply both sides by a. We get a to the power 560 into a is congruent to 1 into a modulo 561, which implies a to the power 561 is congruent to a modulo 561 for all integers a with GCD of a and n equal to 1. CD of a n equal to 1. Then by definition of absolute pseudo prime, 561 is a absolute pseudo prime. Okay. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Take one example as a homework. Show that 1729 is an absolute pseudo prime. as here given that show that, then it must be absolute pseudo prime. Just we have to prove this one. Okay, whether 1729 is a prime number. Last digit will be 9. Then the numbers which divides this number, possible numbers will be कोणता?
3 ने डिवाइड होते.
3 ने डिवाइड होते का? 7 + 1 8, 8 + 2 10, 10 + 9 19, 19 डिविजिबल आहे का हो 3 ने?
नो सर, नो सर.
पॉसिबल नंबर डिवाइड करणारे कोणता असेल? 3 आहे पण 3 डिवाइड करत नाहीये. दुसरा नंबर कोणता असेल? 4 5 6 तर करणार नाही. 7 करेल का? 7 करू शकतो ना. 7 ची सायकल काय? 7 7 7 49, 7 × 9 63, 1. This one be the cycle of 7. Therefore it is possible that 7 divides this number. Check whether 7 divides this number. This number is divisible by 7, then it must be a composite number. So its prime factorization will be 1729 is nothing but 1729 equal to 7 × 13 × 19. Check whether this one will be true. If 17
Correct है sir.
if 1729 has this one is a prime factorization, then we have to just put these values in Fermat's theorem and we have to show that a to the power 1729 is congruent to a modulo 1729. Then 1729 must be a absolute pseudo prime number. Okay, now the next concept will be a square free integer. Square free integer. Okay, a integer is said to be and square free integer if it is not divisible by any perfect square other than 1. So any integer n is said to be a square free integer if it is not divisible by any square other than 1. Now whether 6 is a square free integer, we have to check 6 is a square free integer. 6 is said to be square free integer if it is not divisible by any perfect square, that is except 1. Square numbers are nothing but 1 4 9 16 25 36 49 and so on. Okay, now if suppose we have to check 6 is a square free or not, whether 6 is divisible by any perfect square other than this one.
No sir.
Whether 4 divides 6. 6 is not divisible by 4. As 9 is greater than 6, it is also not divisible by 9. Therefore 6 is not divisible by any perfect square, which implies 6 is a square free integer. What about 10? Whether 10 is a square free integer.
Yes sir.
What about 18? 18.
No sir.
No, sir.
Why?
It is divisible by
Because
9.
9 divides
As it is 9 divisible by 9, that is it is divisible by some perfect square. Then 18 is not a perfect square. Sorry, square free. 18 is not a square free integer. Okay. कळती का डेफिनेशन का? काही डाऊट आहे यामध्ये?
No, sir.
No sir.
स्क्वेअर फ्री इंटीजर म्हणजे असा इंटीजर जो की एखाद्या परफेक्ट स्क्वेअरने डिव्हिजिबल नाही. जर डिव्हिजिबल असेल तर तो स्क्वेअर फ्री नाही. There is one theorem depending on this definition. See the statement. Let n be a, let small n be a composite square free integer, composite square free integer. As it is a square free, then it is not divisible by any perfect square. Then its prime factors will be distinct. That is, say n equal to p1 into p2 into up to so on some pr prime factorization. That is, as n is a composite, as it is n composite, then by fundamental theorem of arithmetic, it has a prime factorization. But fundamental theorem of arithmetic says that this prime factorization may be distinct or there are some repeated prime numbers. But as here given that square free integer, then this number is not divisible by any perfect square. That is, it is not divisible by some p1 square, p2 square, up to so on pr square. Therefore, number of the prime factorization of n must be distinct. That is p1 into p2 into up to so on pr, where each pi is a distinct prime. Distinct prime if pi minus 1 divides n minus 1 for all I running from 1 to r. 1 to r, then small n is a absolute pseudo prime. Absolute pseudo prime. That is we have to prove. Okay. So here given that n be a composite square free integer. As it is composite, then it has a prime factorization. That is, maybe its prime may be repeated, but also it is given that it is a square free integer. It means it is not divisible by any square. Then this prime factorization, that is p1, p2 up to so on pr, must be distinct. That so, and also given that pi minus 1, that is p1, p2 up to so on pr. p1 minus 1 divides n minus 1, p2 minus 1 divides n minus 1 up to so on, pr minus 1 divides n minus 1 for each I running from 1 to r. Then we have to prove that this n is a absolute pseudo prime. Okay. See its proof. Given that n be a composite number, as n is a composite number and we have to prove n is absolute pseudo prime, then from the definition of absolute pseudo prime, we have to take one integer a which is relatively prime to n. Let small a be an integer which is relatively prime to n. Relatively prime to integer n. That is, GCD of a and n is equal to 1. But n is nothing but p1 into p2 into up to so on pr. But given that n is nothing but p1 into p2 into up to so on pr, where each pi is a distinct prime and a be an integer which is relatively prime to n, then a must be relatively prime to each of these prime factors, that is pi where I running from 1 to r, which implies GCD of a comma pi is equal to 1 for all I running from 1 to r. Okay. So as GCD of a and pi will be equal to 1, which implies pi does not divides a. As pi does not divides a and each pi is a distinct prime, then here we can use the Fermat's theorem, which implies by Fermat's theorem, a to the power pi minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo Pi. Okay, so which implies by the definition of congruence, Pi divides a to the power Pi minus 1, and this one will be, sorry, a to the power Pi minus 1 Pi divides e to the power Pi minus 1 minus of 1. Take this one as equation 1. Okay, and in given statement, that is our statement of theorem, also given that Pi minus 1 divides n minus 1 for all I running from 1 to r, and also Pi minus 1 divides n minus 1 for all I running from 1 to r. Okay, so as Pi minus 1 divides n minus 1, which implies a to the power Pi minus 1 must divides a to the power n minus 1, also which implies a to the power Pi minus 1 minus of 1 divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1. Take this one as equation 2. Okay, so here Pi divides a to the power Pi minus 1 minus of 1, and a to the power Pi minus 1 minus 1 divides a to the power n minus 1 minus 1. That is, a divides b and b divides c, which implies a divides c. Therefore, from 1 and 2, from 1 and 2, Pi divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1. Okay, now here n divides the difference of two integers a and b. That is, this one will be n, this one is a, and this one is b. Then by the definition of congruence, a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo Pi. Okay, which for all I running from 1 to r. Okay, which implies Pi, either we use this one, that is this congruence, or from this one direct, that is Pi divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1. That is, we will use the direct result. Which for all I running from 1 to r. That is, P1 divides a to the power n minus 1 minus 1. Similarly, P2 divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1, up to so on. PR divides a to the power n minus 1 minus 1. And each Pi is a distinct prime, which implies P1 divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1. Similarly, P2 divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1, and up to so on. PR divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1. And P1, P2 up to so on, PR are relatively prime. Then its product must divide this integer P1 into P2 into up to so on. PR divides e to the power n minus 1 minus of 1. But P1, P2 up to so on, product of these r integers is nothing but
n.
n, which implies n divides a to the power n minus 1 minus of 1. Now we will use the definition of congruence, which implies a to the power n minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo n. So multiply both side by a, we get a to the power n minus 1 plus 1, which is a to the power n, congruent to 1 into a, which is a modulo n. Therefore, a to the power n is congruent to a modulo n for all a with GCD of a n equal to 1. So now we will use the definition of absolute pseudo prime. So here n be a composite integer such that a to the power n is congruent to a modulo n for all a with GCD of a n equal to 1. Therefore, n is a absolute pseudo prime. Absolute pseudo prime. And hence the proof. कुणाला काही डाऊट यामध्ये? तिला काय होतं तुम्हाला फक्त असं सांगितलं होतं की एन बी अ कॉम्पोजिट स्क्वेअर फ्री इंटीजर आणि त्याच्यावरून आपण हा लिहिला होता एन इज नथिंग बट P1 इंटू P2 इंटू अप टू सो ऑन PR. कारण एन हा कॉम्पोजिट नंबर आहे, याचा अर्थ याला काहीतरी प्राईम फॅक्टरायझेशन असेल, त्यामधले प्राईम मे बी डिस्टिंक्ट असतील किंवा सम प्राईम रिपीटेड असतील. पण इथं तुम्हाला अल्सो काय दिलेलं आहे, स्क्वेअर फ्री इंटीजर दिलेलं आहे. स्क्वेअर फ्री इंटीजर आहे याचा अर्थ काय आहे, तो कोणत्याही एखाद्या परफेक्ट स्क्वेअरने डिव्हिजिबल नाहीये. म्हणजे P1 स्क्वेअर हा सुद्धा एक स्क्वेअर आहे, म्हणजे तो डिव्हिजिबल नाही, तो डिवाइड करणार नाही यांना. सिमिलरली P2 अप टू सो ऑन PR यामधला कोणत्याही प्राईमचा स्क्वेअर हा डिवाइड करणार नाही यांना. म्हणजे यांचं जे काही प्राईम फॅक्टरायझेशन असेल ते डिस्टिंक्ट असेल. ओके. आणि परत काय दिलंय, Pi-1 डिवाइड करतो N-1 ला फॉर इच आय रनिंग फ्रॉम 1 टू R. म्हणजे प्रत्येक P1 P2 अप टू सो ऑन PR -1 डिवाइड्स N-1. आणखी यावरून आपल्याला प्रूव्ह काय करायचं होतं, N हा ऍब्सोल्युटली सुडो प्राईम प्रूव्ह करायचं होतं. आणखी एक कोणताही एखादा नंबर N हा ऍब्सोल्यूट सुडो प्राईम कधी होतो, तो कॉम्पोजिट असला पाहिजे. आणखी तुम्हाला असे ए चूज करायचे जे की रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असतील N सोबत. आणखी ती प्रॉपर्टी सॅटिस्फाय करायची, A टू दी पॉवर N इज कॉन्ग्रुएंट टू A मॉड्युलो N. त्यासाठी आपण एक इंटीजर ए चूज केला जो की रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम आहे N सोबत. तो N सोबत असेल तर त्याच्या प्रत्येक प्राईम फॅक्टरची तो रिलेटिव्हली प्राईम असेल. म्हणजे जीसीडी ऑफ A अँड PI विल बी इक्वल टू 1 फॉर इच आय रनिंग फ्रॉम 1 टू R. As GCD of A and PI equal to 1, then we will use the Fermat theorem. Then by Fermat theorem we get A to the power PI minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo PI, and from this we will use the definition of congruence, that is A is congruent to B modulo N, which implies N divides the difference of two integers A and B, that is PI divides A to the power PI minus 1 minus of 1. But in given statement we have also given that Pi minus 1 divides N minus 1 for each I running from 1 to R. Therefore A to the power Pi minus 1 must divides A to the power N minus 1, which implies this step A to the power Pi minus 1 also divides A to the power Pi minus 1 divides A to the power N minus 1 minus 1. यामध्ये कुणाला काही डाऊट आहे ना? हा जर याला डिवाइड करत असेल तर हा याला डिवाइड करतो याच्यावरून. हा डाऊट आहे कुणाला?
No, sir.
ठीक आहे, जर डाऊट नसेल मग इक्वेशन 1 काय होता, Pi divides A to the power Pi minus 1 minus 1. इक्वेशन 2 काय आहे, A to the power Pi minus 1 minus 1 divides A to the power N minus 1 minus 1, that is A divides B and B divides V. Then by transitivity A divides C, that is Pi divides A to the power N minus 1 minus 1 for each I running from 1 to R, that is P1 P2 up to so on PR. All prime numbers divides A to the power N minus 1 minus 1, but these P1 P2 up to so on PR are relatively prime numbers, then its product must divide that integer, that is A to the power N minus 1 minus 1. But product of these are integers P1 P2 up to so on PR is nothing but N, that is N divides A to the power N minus 1 minus of 1. Then again we have to use the definition of congruence, that is A to the power N minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo N. After that we have to multiply both sides by N arbitrary integer A. We get A to the power N is congruent to A modulo N, where A is an integer which is relatively prime to N. Then by the definition of absolute pseudo prime, N must be an absolute pseudo prime number. कुणाला काही डाऊट? सगळंच डाऊट आहे नाही काहीतरी सांगा.
No, sir.
No, sir.
कळतंय तर ना?
हो.
परत आपण प्रिव्हियस एक्झाम्पल म्हणजे प्रिव्हियस स्टेप मध्ये इथे 2 एक्झाम्पल प्रूव्ह केले होते ना, 561 आणखी 1729 इज अ ऍब्सोल्यूट स्यूडो प्राइम. आता या रिझल्ट नुसार तुम्हाला इझी जाईल की ते चेक करणं. फॉर एक्झाम्पल इफ सपोज वी हॅव टू चेक 561 इज अ स्यूडो प्राइम और नॉट. Prime factorization of 561 is nothing but 3 into 11 into 17. Therefore, here 561 is a into 17. 561 is an composite integer and which is also square free. That is, its prime factorization will be 3 into 11 into 17. Therefore, 561 is not divisible by any perfect square. Therefore, 561 is an composite integer which is a square free having prime factorization is 3 into 11 into 17. Now, if we have to check 561 is an absolute pseudo prime or not, so here we have to just check whether Pi minus 1 divides N minus 1 for all I running from 1 to R or not. If Pi minus 1 divides N minus 1 for each I running from 1 to R, then the corresponding N be a square free integer. Therefore, here there are only 3 primes, that is 3 and 3, 11 and 17. So we have to check whether 3 minus 1 2, 11 minus 1 10 and 17 minus 1 16. So whether 2 comma 11 sorry 10, 2 comma 10 comma 16 divides n minus 1, that is 560, divides 560 or not. 560 or not. If 2, 10 and 16 divides 560, then the corresponding n be absolute pseudo prime, and if does not and if either 2 or 10 or 16 not divides 560, then the corresponding number is not a absolute pseudo prime. 2 divides 560, since 560 is a composite integer, which implies 2 divides 560. What about 10?
10 divides.
10 also divides
Divide,
560.
sir.
And 16?
Yes, sir.
16 also divides 560, which implies 561 is a absolute pseudo prime. Is absolute pseudo prime. दोन स्टेप मध्ये तुम्हाला कळेल की करस्पॉन्डिंग नंबर हा absolute pseudo prime आहे की नाही. परत 1729 साठी पण चेक करू शकता तुम्ही. 1729 is nothing but 7 into 11 sorry 7 into 13 into 19. So here just we have to check whether 6 divides 1728. 13 divides, so 13 minus 1 will be 12. 6 divides 1728. 12 divides 1728 and 18 divides 1728. Check whether 1728 is divisible by 6.
Yes, sir.
What about 12?
Yes, sir.
तिन्ही नंबर डिवाइड करतात ना 6, 12 आणखी 18, which implies 1729 is absolute pseudo prime. Pseudo prime. Okay.